This week, Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer are threatened by a ghostly being in What Lies Beneath.
John Malkovich and Catherine Deneuve treat love as an elaborate game in Time Regained.
And Jason Biggs wants to be more than Mina Savari's best friend in Loser. Claire!
The picture-perfect marriage of Michelle Pfeiffer and Harrison Ford is disrupted when a ghostly presence from the past invades their lives in the supernatural thriller What Lies Beneath, and that is one of 5 summer movies we'll be reviewing this week. I'm Roger Ebert, film critic for the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Richard Roper, columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times. Now, What Lies Beneath has 2 of our most appealing stars, and it's directed by Robert Zemeckis of Forrest Gump and Back to the Future, so you'd think this would be one classy horror flick. Think again. Ford is Dr. Norman Spencer, and Pfeiffer is his skittish wife, Claire, who have renovated the house owned by Ford's legendary scientist father. And now that their only daughter has gone to college, they have the run of the place.
What are they doing in the store?
I guess the neighbors are making up.
Leave it open.
Think we can take them?
It's worth a try.
But their Pottery Barn happiness can't keep the goblins away from poor Claire, as Norman explains to one of his academic colleagues.
Claire's hearing things. What? What are you hearing?
What? I don't know. I heard voices whispering. A picture fell. No, you know, I completely believe in all that. You do?
Claire's ghostly research causes big trouble, as in this scene where she seems to be possessed by the spirit of Sigourney Weaver in Ghostbusters.
Hello, Dr. Spencer.
Mrs. Spencer.
Forbidden fruit. You got a problem with that?
Where's Bill Murray when you need him? You know, maybe this movie would have worked better if the trailer and the ad campaign didn't give away the supposed big surprise, which pretty much makes the first half a big bucket of red herrings. But even if I'd been in the dark, I still would have recognized all those horror movie cliches, from the ominous music leading to the slamming door or the tap on the shoulder, to the unintentionally hilarious climax, which borrows from Carrie and Sleeping with the Enemy and Fatal Attraction and Cape Fear and probably Gone with the Wind if you look closely enough. Now, What Lies Beneath, to me, is a major disappointment.
Me too. And, you know, why bother to make a suspense movie if you give away all of the suspense in the ad so that, you know, they criticize critics for giving too much away. They didn't leave us anything
They're
to
the
give
worst.
away.
This is the worst case I can think of in
And
the trailer.
you're right. I was laughing during the last 20 minutes. I mean, the movie goes completely off the rails. I can only think that maybe in some deep recess of his mind, Robert Zemeckis thought he was making a satire because...
Oh, really?
Once that last sequence begins, your jaw drops open. You cannot believe that in any way this develops out of what went before, and by the end of the movie, it's completely at sea.
And it's such a missed opportunity to do something new in this genre. And Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer, those people personally must be thinking, what are we doing in this movie? They would walk out of this movie themselves as human beings.
And she's pretty good at the beginning, but then she's looking through the little peephole and she sees the neighbor woman next door, and that's all completely, a blind alley. It doesn't lead anywhere.
Right.
What was the neighbor woman doing, scaring her through the knothole, if in fact there wasn't any payoff to that?
Killing time to throw us off the track.
I don't know. Our next movie is I'm the One That I Want, a comedy starring Margaret Cho in concert, who reminds us that she was the first Asian American to star in her own TV sitcom called All American Girl, and then she tells us the story of her life before, during, and after that episode. She's very funny, but she doesn't deal only in humor. There's truth and pain in her memories of growing up in America. What is she supposed to do, for example, when her manager suggests fine-tuning her image of herself?
He said one time, he goes, "You know what, Margaret? I think the Asian thing puts people off." What's the Asian thing? Like it's some gimmick that I pull out of my ass every couple of years. To jazz up my career, it's like, ho, ho, yeah, all right.
Show reminds me a little of Roseanne as she celebrates her disorderly sex life.
I went through this whole thing. I was like, am I gay? Am I straight? And I realized I'm just slutty.
She works in the modern style of confessional humor, telling us she became an alcoholic after the show went off the air and then sobered up and decided to keep on fighting.
And I'm going to stay here and rock the mic until the next Korean-American, fag hag, starter, girl comic, trash talker comes up and takes my place.
Margaret Cho also provides a behind-the-scenes glimpse of her TV sitcom, during which she complains a network executive actually told her that she was too fat to play herself. Thank God that guy doesn't work for this show. She has a lot of affection for her first-generation Korean-American parents, who suffered enough discrimination, she says, that they never really believed audiences would ever accept her as a stand-up comic. I'm the One That I Want is the kind of movie where you laugh a lot and yet you come away with a pretty good idea of the star and the life she has led, and I liked it.
Well, I liked it, but not enough to recommend it. I agree with you then. When Margaret Cho does that character of her mother, it's really well drawn. But you mentioned Roseanne, and I think she does a lot of Roseanne. And the other characters she does all sound the same to me. They kind of scream like this, and I got tired of hearing that one note from her throughout. I also don't have that much sympathy for somebody saying, well, I went on TV and then they criticize my appearance. Well, that's what they're going to do if you have a television show. It seems a little bit like she's having her cake and eating it, too. I got to do this show, and now I'm going to rip all these executives. And it's easy to set up these people and then tear them down and get all those big applause lines from people saying, oh, she doesn't care about her weight anymore. Hasn't she grown as a person? This is not a self-help movie. It's supposed to be stand-up comedy.
No, I don't agree with that. For one thing, Roseanne was able to get away with being herself on television, which was kind of revolutionary.
Yeah.
Roseanne then herself decided to change who she was with plastic surgery and so forth, which was her decision. But the whole thing about Margaret Cho was she was Margaret Cho, so let her be Margaret Cho. What I like about, sure, she's not a great mimic, but what I like is her material, her insights into being an Asian American, into people who think she can talk in her native language. You know, if you look like that, obviously you speak something. They don't know what, but it's not English. And all of that stuff I thought was pretty much on target.
Yeah, it just didn't work for me. In the long run, a little of Margaret went a long way. Okay, coming up later in the show, Jason Biggs is looking for love in Loser. And coming up next, there's more at stake than a simple wager in Croupier.
Place your bets, please.
What's the count?
-9.
Make it -8.
-9.
What makes you so sure?
It's a rule. Always stand by your first count. The odds are you're right.
Clive Owen wins a casino job and sizes up his boss without even breaking a sweat in Croupier, the tale of a robotically charming would-be novelist who narrates his own life as if he were the central character in an exciting novel. Owen plays Jack Manfred, an unpublished writer who lives in a rundown flat with his security detective girlfriend who loves him but can't compete with his casino job and the rich double life playing in his head.
17. 19. Did she think he'd bring her luck? 14. Why had she come? 2 minutes. Did she want him to help her win? 11 double.
That's Alex Kingston from ER as a woman who draws Jack into a plan to rob the casino.
That was a late bet.
You're calling me a cheat. You are a cheat. I saw you.
I'm talking to you. It was her.
Even when Jack is getting pounded, he doesn't lose his cool. Owen has ice-cold charisma, and Kingston is fun as a kind of a South African cousin to Kathleen Turner's character in Body Heat. But Croupier gets bogged down by all that silly narration. Just because Jack wants to be a novelist doesn't mean we should be constantly bombarded by his voiceovers, which, quite honestly, make us wonder if he can write at all. But I still might have recommended Croupier if not for a sour twist of an ending that was forced and tacked on. Croupier is an interesting roll of the dice that finally craps out.
I liked it more than you did. I like Mike Hodges in general. He made a great movie 30 years ago called Get Carter with Michael Caine in it, and this is kind of a comeback for him later in his career. What's interesting about this film is it first went out around the country as part of a shooting gallery series of 6 movies that would play for 2 weeks each in selected theaters to give these independent films a window. And this one is the one that kind of caught on, and it's now going out commercially in lots of theaters. And I guess the shooting gallery is going to try the experiment again. And what's important with movies like this, whether we like it or not, is So often these days, really promising films don't even get into the theaters because they just block book the whole country for the demographic of basically teenage boys, who I love. I was a teenage boy myself, but there are other moviegoers out there, and a movie like this proves
fine. I can
that they're
root for
looking
all of
for
that,
it. Yeah.
but when I watch the movie, if I don't like it enough to like it,
Well,
then
I
I'm
like
not going to
it.
say
I like
it.
it.
You know?
I like the
that's all well
details.
and good.
I like the details about the casino itself. I like the way things work. I like that also in Scorsese's movie Casino. And I enjoyed that, and also the relationship and the secret of the relationship.
I didn't find the secret to be consistent with the way the movie was set up.
Okay, when we come back, the stars of American Pie and American Beauty in the story of an American loser.
Jerry Lewis, ladies and gentlemen. Come on.
I eat here, like, every night. I've never seen you come in.
You eat in the student center every night? And there's like 20 restaurants on every block.
Yeah, I don't know New York that well.
Well, you should do some exploring. Best city in the universe.
That's Jason Biggs from American Pie. He's a small-town kid going to college in New York City, and he meets Mina Savari, who played Kevin Spacey's pom-pom fantasy girl in American Beauty, and they become friends in Loser, a sweet but obvious love story where once again it takes two intelligent people a whole movie for one of them to figure out she loves her best friend and not the creep she's dating. We've seen this before. The creep is played, and very well played, by Greg Kinnear as a supercilious professor.
Can we discuss something that I want to ask you about in a non-emotional way? It's
Dora, seriously, how am I supposed to teach a course on camera when you're wearing this sweater? I think we may have to take it off. Do you think 4 o'clock my place?
Biggs is a student of Kinnear, but doesn't know that some of his classmates are blackmailing the professor about his affair with the undergraduate played by Savari.
Since I have 20 credits and I only need 16, I was wondering if I could take this class pass-fail so I don't get kicked out. And, sir, I promise, I wouldn't slack off. In fact, I'd work doubly hard.
Well, listen, I'm ecstatic to hear your plans to work doubly hard because Lit 100 courses are never given pass-fail.
Savari is given a date rape drug at a party, and Biggs saves her, but she's so out of it, he doesn't realize what a nice guy he is and that he loves her.
They said you were okay to go home and rest a couple of days and drink plenty of liquids. Oh, and you need to take these.
charcoal.
Mm-hmm. So I can start a fire in your heart.
Jason Biggs and Mina Savari have a nice rapport in Loser as two people who are nicer than they want to admit, and Greg Kinnear is convincing as the heartless professor, but this is another one of those romantic comedies based on the infinite delay of the obvious. How can Mina Savari deceive herself in the face of abundant evidence that Kinnear is only using her? How long can Jason Biggs keep quiet about the evil things that he knows? There's a rhythm, I think, that has to be respected in these plots or the audience grows restless. The writer-director is Amy Heckerling, who made Clueless, and that's a good word to describe her characters this time.
This is such a terrible movie. It has me longing for the glory days of the Freddie Prinze, Claire Forlani romance of a couple of weeks ago. This is even worse than that, because these characters live in such a phony world. Just because Jason Biggs is not from a big city, he's like the stupidest man alive. And his roommates are these weird androgynous creeps. And you mentioned the date rape drug. Does comedy come out of slipping drugs to women so you could sexually assault them? And then you just
the
kind of
movie
play
doesn't know. It kind of wants to be a comedy, and it kind of doesn't want to be a comedy. And Amy Heckerling has said that she kind of based it on her own memories of growing up, although I don't know where she grew up or how she grew up. But
she grew up on the planet cliché where no original thoughts come from.
Yeah, these people do not have the texture of real life about them. They are all creatures of the plot.
You even like Kinnear better than I did. I thought it was like just a one-note performance from him that he's done better before.
Okay.
All right, next is Time Regained, a really long and sometimes beautiful movie that's an adaptation of just one volume in the So Long You Never Finished It epic from Marcel Proust, In Search of Lost Time, which was known as Remembrance of Things Past when I was in school. Director Raul Ruiz works with a giant palette of colors and uses myriad tricks of photography and lighting and plot gimmickry as he weaves a time-jumping tale of French society in the early 20th century. Some of the great beauties of French cinema are showcased here, including the greatest of them all, Catherine Deneuve.
Oh, venez, venez voir. Ah non, mais venez. Je vous assure que c'est beaucoup plus amusant que tout ce que vous pouvez raconter.
It's all very pretty and very self-conscious and confusing. A bedridden Marcel orchestrates the scene hopping by flipping through old photographs.
Les Verdura.
œuvres d'art si, comme le premier, n'aurait jamais su peindre un Jacques.
Maman.
Here Marcel remembers when he was 12 and he met the luminous Gilberte, played by Emmanuel Béart.
Pourquoi ne voulez-vous pas me répondre? Si je vous disais que ce jour-là, le temps m'a manqué, j'aurais voulu vous offenser à mon tour.
Ah bon? Pourquoi?
Pour vous obliger à garder un souvenir de moi.
But whether Marcel is sick, dreaming, falling in love, or remembering his childhood, he's about as three-dimensional as a French postcard. He's a passive, sickly observer who chronicles everything with a curious detachment that might make him a great writer, but does not make him an interesting central character in a film that's far too tricky for its own good. And don't even get me started about John Malkovich as a perverted baron who loves to get whipped. I'll be studying Time Regained in graduate classes for years to come, but I have no intention of ever revisiting it.
I think you probably have to have some idea about Proust in order to appreciate this movie because it illustrates pictures that are already in your mind. I think if you've never read anything of Proust, and you're right that hardly anyone has read all of Proust, you're going to be pretty lost. You have to kind of know who these characters are. But, of course, Marcel is not supposed to be a key central character. Even in the novel, he's a narrator who lacks substance and who tries to find it through his recreation of these memories. And the people that he remembers are ever so much more real than he is as he sits in his bed or, as Proust said, in his cork-lined room writing his famous novel. I liked it as an evocation and an illustration of memory, about the way memory works and the way that all of our memories work as we try to regain the past and recapture what is gone forever. But I do not think it really works just as an entertainment. I'm recommending it as a kind of a as a study aid.
Level, you're recommending this thing. You're saying read some Proust and be prepared to get into memories, but it's not a very good movie.
Anyone who likes Proust is going to enjoy this movie for that reason. Well, leave it there.
Book the cinema houses now for that, then.
When we come back, my video pick of the week is a movie that has a good chance of becoming a new family classic.
Roger Ebert in the Movies Video Pick of the Week is brought to you by Nestle Raisinets. At the movies or at home, Raisinets.
Most family films don't do well at the box office unless they're animated, but they do have a way of finding big audiences on video, and some of them are on the video bestseller list for years. A couple of examples of that would be A Christmas Story, about a boy growing up in northern Indiana, and Shiloh, about a boy and his dog. Now there's another title to add to that list, My Dog Skip. Released in February of this year and now available on video, the movie is based on the story of Willie Morris, who grew up to be editor of Harper's Magazine, but thought he was a loser as a kid.
Will, son?
Fine. Can't even check.
Time to come in.
Then his mom, played by Diane Lane, convinced his dad, Kevin Bacon, to let him have a dog.
He's a responsible boy who needs a friend.
And what happens when he becomes attached to that dog? Learns to love it.
I thought that was the general idea.
Ellen, dogs die, they get sick, they run away from home, they get hit by cars. They're just a heartbreak waiting to happen. Will, he's not ready for that. He's frail, he's sensitive. He can't handle it.
The dog changes everything by giving this lonely kid a friend that helps him make other friends. That's Frankie Muniz as young Willie Morris there. With Skip's curiosity and spirit as his inspiration, the boy explores the town and gains self-confidence in a film that is surprisingly touching, especially in the way it handles the story of a next-door hero who goes off to war and comes back completely changed. My Dog Skip is a wonderful family film now available on tapes and DVD, and it's my video pick of the week.
Now let's take another look at the new movies we reviewed on this week's show. 2 thumbs down for What Lies Beneath, the disappointing supernatural thriller that didn't provide very many thrills. A split decision for I'm the One That I Want, the Margaret Cho comedy concert film. Roger liked her funny insights. I didn't laugh that much. Another split for Croupier. Roger admired the atmosphere and gambling expertise. I was let down by the ending. And 2 thumbs down for Loser, the college romance where the characters seem oblivious to the obvious. And finally, another split for Time Regained. Roger recommends it for those who know Proust, but I thought it was too tricky for its own good.
So the ones to stay away from, I guess, are the two big commercial openings, What Lies Beneath and Loser, are both kind of disappointments.
Yeah, and What Lies Beneath, I think, is a bigger disappointment because of the cast and the director.
Margaret Cho is funny.
She's kind of funny.
Remember, you can hear our reviews on Ebert-movies.com and read us in print at suntimes.com. Next week, more new movies, including Nutty 2, The Clump, with Eddie Murphy playing all 5 adult members of the Clump family, plus Buddy Love.
Wellman College, you formula.
Maybe I need to take some of that.
It don't kill ugly.
That's next week. Until then, the balcony is closed.